Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, June 29th.
Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and start with Stephen Cavazos. Very busy morning out there.
Unfortunately, here on the southwest side of town, we do not have a better update, sad update. In fact, we know that one man is dead after his motorcycle collided with a big rig. We're going to have more on that with Jonathan Cotto in just a moment. But for now, TransGuide only able to give us this view at 410 at Somerset. Now, while it may not look too bad out here, we do know that there are some big closures taking place. Let's go ahead and bring you in here on the map because that is right underneath the overpass of 410 Palo Alto Road. Now, according to San Antonio Police, those north and southbound lanes have been closed as they are investigating, trying to determine how all of this happened. But quick suggestion, if you're still trying to make your way out there, traveling in the southbound lanes, exit Gillette Boulevard to Zarzamora, and you can avoid some of that yellow that we're starting to see build up on the screen. And if you are heading in the northbound lanes, best way to exit is going to be here at Zarzamora. And again, you'll avoid some of that traffic investigation or delays. But back here at TransGuide, closest shot that we have right now. But right now, let's go ahead and get to Jonathan Cotto, who is live there on the scene. Jonathan, do we know how long this investigation is going to last?
Thank you, Stephen. Well, I can tell you right now, it's still a very busy scene here at the intersection of Highway 16 and Southwest Loop 410. Now, it's important to mention both north and southbound lanes remain closed as San Antonio Police Department's Traffic Investigation Division pieced together the details of this crash. But this is what we know right now. San Antonio Police tell us a man in his 40s was traveling northbound on the lanes of Highway 16 when he was attempting to beat the light that had just turned red. He crashed into that cement truck that you see on your screen as the cement truck was attempting to make a left onto Highway 16. Now, they tell us the motorcycle and the motorcycle driver were lodged underneath the truck. He was dragged across the intersection up until the point that you see the truck stopped right there. Now, San Antonio Police say the truck driver has been cooperative and doesn't appear to be at fault. But of course, this is a situation that is all under investigation. Again, if your morning commute brings you to this part of town, the city's southwest side, keep in mind that both north and southbound lanes of this intersection here at Highway 16 remain closed until further notice. Reporting live on the city's southwest side, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Jonathan, thank you for the update.
And let's look at today's 9 at 9. The deadly migrant tragedy highlighting a growing crisis along the southern border. More than 50 people are dead. Last night, a vigil was held for the victims. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar asked President Biden for more resources to fight human smuggling, calling it a humanitarian crisis.
Fallout from explosive testimony during a last-minute public hearing of the January 6th committee. Former top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, Cassidy Hutchinson, testifying the White House officials knew there was a risk of violence on January 6th and knew attendees at the president's rally that day had weapons. Hutchinson also recounted a tense moment between Trump and a Secret Service agent. The Secret Service responded saying they'd like to refute the claim under oath.
The National Transportation Safety Board releasing preliminary reports from the deadly derailment in Missouri. They say the crossing where the train hit the dump truck was uncontrolled, meaning there were no lights or mechanized arms. At least 4 people are dead from the incident and roughly 150 people have been hospitalized.
At this point, most states are engaged in abortion debates. Attorneys general in these states say they want to maintain or expand access. These states are poised to go the other way with restrictions or bans. Such laws are in limbo in Louisiana and Utah. They're already in place in these areas.
Jeffrey Epstein's former associate Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in sex trafficking minors. She was convicted last year. The judge said Maxwell was not punished in place of Epstein, but for her part in the crime.
The CDC has opened an emergency center in response to the monkeypox outbreak in the U.S. It'll be used to deal with the outbreak response from the government as well as non-government agencies' response. The Biden administration also announced plans to offer monkeypox vaccines in states with high case rates.
The Federal Trade Commission is going after Walmart. It is accusing the company of not doing enough to stop scammers from taking advantage of its money transfer services. Federal officials say crooks have used Walmart services to cheat people out of tens of millions of dollars every year.
Consumer confidence is sliding. The Conference Board says its latest index of confidence in the economy hit a 16-month low this month. That's the second straight month it has fallen. Concerns about inflation, especially rising gas and food prices, are driving the index down.
Inflation worries also weighing on Wall Street with investors in a selling mood yesterday. The Dow closing down 1.6%, the S&P finishing 2% lower, and the Nasdaq closing down 3%. That's today's 9 at 9. And taking a look outside with live cam, 76 degrees right now, looking nice and pretty out there after all that rain we got yesterday.
What an awesome day yesterday was. It was incredible. Good widespread rain for most of our area. A couple notes to pass along, though. CPS Energy just tweeted out that they worked through the night, but they still have 216 power outages affecting around 900 customers. And they put out some stats, too. More than 4,600 lightning strikes yesterday and some gusty winds. So that caused around 60 reports of downed power lines and then a high number of power outages. But they're working on that, most of it getting restored this morning. Let's look at some of the rainfall numbers. They were great. About half an inch at the airport, over an inch in Bernie, 1.9 inches in Floresville, Kennedy about 0.7 inches. You look a little closer here around San Antonio, Alamo Ranch, nearly 3 inches. The big winner, Windcrest, close to 4 inches there. And we mentioned Bernie over an inch, Elmendorf 0.71. I mean, the numbers were great. We love to see it. It was widespread good rain. It's exactly what we needed. Temperatures this morning, 73 Kerrville, 80 in Uvalde, 79 Hondo, 77 Gonzales. Mostly upper 70s here in San Antonio right now. But with mostly clear skies, we'll see these numbers jump up pretty quickly today. In fact, I think we're up close to 90 by noontime, mostly sunny. We'll see a bit more cloud cover in the afternoon, and I can't rule out a stray shower or two, especially east of I-35. But the rain chances in general today are fairly low. We get up to around 96 for a high, and then temperatures fall back down into the 80s tonight. There's some small chances of rain coming up as we still are watching some tropical moisture in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit, guys.
Justin, thank you. In your other morning headlines, millions of cars and trucks will be on the road this weekend, and another TikTok challenge leaving a lot of dangerous holes.
Plus, lightning fires up a fishing trip and Elmo gets vaccinated. David Sears is here to explain.
Oh, I got it now. I heard David listening to Elmo in the newsroom this morning, and now I've put two and two together.
Elmo, a pretty tough little kid.
Apparently.
Hey, he didn't cry or nothing. So we'll have that for you in just a second, tell you why he got vaccinated. If you are making travel plans for this weekend, the 4th of July, here's your warning. Get ready. If you are hitting the road, AAA predicting that you'll be driving alongside or in front of or back of 42 million of your closest friends. That is a group traveling 50 miles or more. AAA says the busiest highways are going to be around Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Seattle. Apparently they didn't drive between Houston and Dallas and San Antonio. With all the congestion, they suggest you leave early tomorrow morning or early Friday morning or late on those 2 days. Coming home, well, you're on your own there. Good luck. It could be a big problem. All right, when it comes to flying, AAA found out that the number of Americans flying is going to be less like 2011 numbers because of all the cancellations. They blame weather, staffing issues, and some people probably just getting tired of the cancellations and decided they're not even going to take a chance on getting stuck somewhere. If you are headed to the coast, a beach warning for you. Be careful where you walk. You want to watch out for holes. Apparently, there is a new TikTok challenge on a beach in Florida, which means it could come to Texas beaches. The challenge in Florida, see how big a hole you can dig on the beach and then just leave it there. Not good for several reasons. Number one, somebody could fall in that hole. Number two, a worker is going to have to come and fill the holes. There are pictures of some decent sized holes left behind, and there's that crater right there. You see how big that was with that shovel kind of showing the size of it. And then, of course, there's this problem. The shovel at the bottom gives you the idea, but the problem is turtles. Yeah, turtles at night, the little guys are trying to get into the water. You don't want them falling in any of the holes.
We have the moms on the beach at night and we have the babies going to the water at night. They face so many threats already. This is one small thing that we can all do to help them.
No, we don't want any holes there for the turtles. The mayor of Sanibel has two simple requests: fill the holes back in and leave only footprints behind. All right, that is a Coast Guard helicopter pulling up passengers from a boat that was hit by lightning. It's quick, so here it is, and then we'll give you the slow version. There were 7 people on that boat at the time. One of the passengers just happened to be recording at the right time. They were 100 miles off the coast of Florida, taking part in a fishing tournament when the lightning hit that boat. The Coast Guard was able to get to the scene and then rescue all the passengers on board. I believe there was like 7 folks on that boat. And finally, Elmo and his dad, Louie, taking up COVID-19 vaccines. Elmo just got his shot. You can see the Band-Aid was around his arm. The Sesame Street characters promoting vaccines for kids under 5. Now that the Moderna and Pfizer got emergency use approval for kids as young as 6 months.
You were super duper today, getting your COVID vaccine, Elmo.
Yeah, there was a little pinch, but it was okay. Elmo was really glad to have Daddy and baby David there with him.
Elmo and his dad encouraging parents to talk with the pediatricians to find out about vaccines and how to keep your kids safe and also how to keep their friends safe. Way to go, Elmo!
Good job, David. Tiny little Band-Aid around his little arm.
I want to see if who's the Cookie Monster got his shot.
I think he'd be a little more vocal.
And probably, but maybe
He can be bribed.
That's what I was going to say. How many cookies did it take for the Cookie Monster to get his vaccine?
Good point, Mark.
Thank you, David. 9:09, 76 degrees. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
And we are continuing our coverage of the deadly migrant tragedy and looking at how the handling of this recent situation is different from the approach taken 5 years ago when there was another migrant discovery. Plus,
a local nonprofit is on a mission to bring warmth and comfort to veterans and deployed service members. Details on how you can get involved.
Just about 9:13, hospitals are cold and deployments are long. So a local nonprofit is giving veterans at hospitals and deployed service members blankets to bring them warmth and comfort.
Soldiers Angels Blanket Drive kicks off this week where they are collecting blankets of all kinds, store-bought, handmade, and even blankets that aren't sewn.
Tiffany Huertas joins us now with more on the drive. And Tiffany, let's talk a little bit more about what these blankets mean for those who receive them.
Good morning. Yeah, Soldiers Angels says every year they get thank you notes saying that these blankets bring comfort and warmth and they help during very difficult times. Just check it out. This morning we have volunteers and staff participating in a training session to learn how to make no-sew blankets. To talk more about this, we have Amy, the CEO of Soldiers Angels. Good morning. Talk to us about this program, this initiative, the no-sew blanket.
Good morning. We have a blanket campaign every year to raise blankets to help us with our veteran population and our deployed service members. And so our goal this year is 2022, so 2,022 blankets this year. The last several years we've come short of that goal, and so today we're actually teaching our team how to do it so they can go out and train others and show them how to make these blankets. With our blanket drive, though, they don't have to be homemade. We'll take blankets of all sorts. So if they're more comfortable buying from the store or Amazon wish list, they can do that as well.
Where are these blankets going to?
A lot of them will go to VA hospitals, to veteran patients that are hospitalized, just to give them a touch of home while they're there and hospitalized. But we'll also send some to deployed service members as well.
And we're seeing some notes here. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so people can put a note with the blankets if they'd like to. Usually you can tie some ribbon around them and run it through the hole in the loop and just write a note to the service member. And so we've got some great ones, even some that the kids had drawn pictures on and put hearts on. And so there's some great note cards that we get with the blankets every year.
Awesome. And we have Nancy over here. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Talk to us about how difficult is it? Is this family friendly, an event to do for everyone?
It's very family friendly. It's a great way for moms and dads and their kids to come together as a unit and make something that a veteran is just going to love and appreciate.
And what are you guys doing this morning?
What we are doing at this point is we are tying the fringe. They've cut the blanket, they've cut the fringe, and now they're tying it to make the final fringe of the blanket.
And finally, how do you feel about being part of this?
I love being a part of Soldiers Angels. I come from a military family, and it's my way to help give back to our service members and veterans.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This is very exciting, a very cool program here happening in San Antonio. Back to you guys.
Tiffany Huertas live over at Soldiers Angels and their blanket drive. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you. And 9:15 and 77 degrees, but still not too bad out there after that rain.
Kind of refreshing, Justin.
It felt so good yesterday, and then the sunset was beautiful. It was all good all the way around. And the aquifer is benefiting too. It's up nearly a foot at last check to 634.8. Still not a great number, but just good to see the aquifer going up in general. It's been a little bit since we've seen a bump like this. The 10-day average is still 634.7. So we need a lot more rain to get us out of this drought situation and get the aquifer back where it needs to be. But we're taking baby steps here. And yesterday, again, was a great situation for us. As we take a look outside, mostly clear skies here in San Antonio right now. 79 degrees at the airport, 78 Stinson, 78 Kelly, 76 at Randolph. So we're off to a nice start, but with mostly clear skies, we'll see these temperatures rise pretty quickly. It is going to turn into a fairly warm day. And as far as rain is concerned, we're starting at noon here. We'll go forward to about 3, 4 o'clock. Some showers, maybe a few storms along the coast, but nothing here in San Antonio. I think it will be a much quieter day. We'll put in a 10% chance here around town for any stray pop-up showers or storms that do develop this evening. But I think anything we see is probably going to be east of I-35, and it'll be few and far between. So that's just the situation today. And then by 8 p.m. tonight, maybe a few more showers, again, east of San Antonio before it all falls apart, with a loss of daytime heating overnight. So we'll start off mostly sunny and then probably add some clouds late in the day. 90 degrees by noontime, 94 by 2 o'clock, and then partly cloudy at 3 o'clock, 95, 96 at 4. There is that 10% chance of rain, at least here in San Antonio, and then falling into the 80s, 89 degrees by 8 o'clock, 86 by 9 p.m. Temperatures at this hour, 73 Kerrville, 79 here in town, 78 Port SA, 81 in Castroville. So starting to see some 80s on the map. The dew point, it's relatively high. We're going to stay in the humid territory today. Nothing overly humid, but it is going to be somewhat sticky, especially with yesterday's rainfall. Now we turn to the Gulf. What's going on there? So we've got a little bit of a swirl here. Still very, very disorganized. Showers and storms over the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Center's been watching this. They're giving it a 40% chance of development. But the chances are that this stays fairly disorganized. Even if it does develop a little bit, it's not going to have much real estate to work with. And as we look at the spaghetti plots, and these aren't going to be terribly accurate because we don't have a center of circulation yet, but it just gives us a general idea that this will work towards the Texas coast and then probably turn north and weaken as it does. What does that mean for rainfall for us? We probably stay on the dry side of things. So this is just one computer model, but as we go forward into tomorrow, this is 3 o'clock tomorrow, notice most of the rain is along the coast and then maybe a few outlying showers on the edges there that may make their way towards San Antonio. If this does become a little better organized, then you're going to see kind of a cluster of showers and storms really east of us. Houston would have the best shot at getting some decent rainfall out of this. So yeah, we're probably going to get the short end of the stick, I think, when it comes to this particular system. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. Things can change, but that's the latest thinking so far. And as we look at the extended forecast, 93 on Thursday, 20% chance of rain. We will leave in that slight chance Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with some lingering moisture around. But temperatures start to warm up. 94 Friday, 96 Saturday, and then close to 100 by Independence Day and going into next week. We'll be right back.
Yesterday on GMSA, we told you about police arresting a local man for making terroristic threats. Rodolfo Aceves reportedly told a co-worker at the Amazon delivery station near Brook City Base that he planned to commit a mass shooting.
The co-worker did exactly what she was supposed to do. She heard something and said something and possibly saved lives. That was also part of the message Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar got across during an active shooter training session yesterday.
As our David Sears reports, see something, say something, along with avoid, deny, and defend is one of the lessons taught to help prevent a mass shooting before it happens.
Look in that wound channel to see where it's bleeding from. Right, left, or middle, and put my finger directly on the spot.
Sheriff Javier Salazar hosting a civilian response to active shooter and Stop the Bleed seminar for teachers and administrators in the surrounding 19 counties.
We know that right now, school administrators, teachers, school police are, I wouldn't say panicked is the word, but there is a sense of anxiety in the community.
Given the recent shooting in Uvalde, it's easy to understand why. The reason the sheriff brought these school employees together, for most, it's a refresher course.
You've got to keep reinforcing the tenets of what they've already learned, but we also need to let them know how things have evolved. How have shooters, how has their MO evolved since the last time you may have attended this class?
One thing that really stood out to me was you never want to learn something new in a moment of crisis, and it's been really helpful to be, feeling a little bit more prepared if there is a crisis that does arise.
Part of the preparedness, learning to stop the bleed.
It is one of the best trainings that we've always provided for our staff. We also want to provide it to our students because seconds counts, and we know that learning how to stop the bleed will save lives.
Another way to save lives, keep your eyes and ears open. Even if it's one of your friends, if you see something, don't be afraid to say something.
Maybe their friend that is having a difficult time mentally, and we want to be able to tell our kids it's okay to tell us so that we can provide help and hopefully prevent something that is catastrophic.
David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
In other news, a lot of talk this morning about the explosive testimony yesterday during a last-minute public hearing of the January 6th committee.
A former top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, testifying that White House officials knew there was a risk of violence on January 6th and knew attendees at the president's rally that day had weapons. The aide also recounted a tense moment between former President Trump and a Secret Service agent.
ABC's Jay O'Brien explains more about the fallout from yesterday's hearing.
This morning, the January 6th committee's investigation thrust into a higher gear after the explosive testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson, a 26-year-old former aide to Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, as rioters stormed the Capitol chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." Hutchinson recounting White House counsel Pat Cipollone, the president's top lawyer, pleading with Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to get former President Donald Trump to respond.
I remember Pat saying something to the effect of, "Mark, we need to do something more. They're literally calling for the vice president to be effing hung." And Mark had responded something to the effect of, "You heard him, Pat. He thinks Mike deserves it."
And earlier, Hutchinson recalling Trump's anger that his Stop the Steal rally wasn't full, ordering the metal detectors be removed to allow more people in, some with weapons.
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in.
Hutchinson then telling the committee a story she heard secondhand from another White House aide, saying as Trump got into his presidential vehicle leaving the rally, he was told he could not go to the Capitol and erupted, lunging for the steering wheel and allegedly assaulting a Secret Service agent.
Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
The Secret Service saying they'd like to respond to this claim under oath, a source telling ABC News to expect the agents will refute the assault allegations. Trump responding with a flurry of posts on his social media app, claiming he hardly knew Hutchinson and calling her a phony. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
927, 77 degrees.
So much more coming up on GMSA at 9, including the latest on the deadly migrant tragedy.
And Stephen Cavazos is going to be joining us with another traffic update after the break.
Still no great update over on the southwest side. Let's get a look at your commute here at 410 at Somerset. This is the closest shot TransGuide was able to get for us following a deadly crash involving a motorcycle and some sort of big rig out there. But we do know Jonathan Cotho has been working to get us details, and we'll have more on that story throughout the day. But for now, we're not seeing any issues here along 410 at Somerset. The real issues are something that TransGuide cameras will not be able to detect, because this is actually under the overpass at Palo Alto Road, under that 410 overpass. Now, keep in mind, those north and southbound lanes are still blocked as San Antonio police are working to investigate how this crash actually happened. So we have to give them some time, and you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time, especially if you have to travel in that direction. Same detour, and again, a suggestion here, exit Gillette Boulevard to Zarzamora if you are traveling in those southbound lanes of Palo Alto Road. The northbound lanes, it's pretty simple. Exit Zarzamora, because right now we know that portion there at Palo Alto is going to be closed for an unforeseeable amount of time. It's been about 2+ hours at this point. But now let's get a wide look at the metro area, because nothing else, thankfully, to talk about. Usual active construction spots, and we'll continue to bring you that information on air and online. For the very latest on this situation, though, at 410 near Palo Alto Road, we'll stay with KSAT for the very latest on that as well. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Outside with live cam. Storms late yesterday, a beautiful sunrise this morning, cooler temperatures. All in all, it's been a pretty good week, Justin.
It's been good. I went out yesterday, took a picture of my rain gauge, as did a lot of people, because it was something we hadn't got to see in a long time. The rain gauge actually was some rain in it. Take a look at this picture on our KSAT Connect. This was sent in from Timberwood Park. Almost 2 inches of rain there, one of the big winners over the last couple of days. In most of San Antonio, at least got a quarter of an inch yesterday, but we had some much bigger numbers in spots like Windcrest, where the numbers were well up over 3 inches. Now, one thing the rain did do is kick up the mold. It's in the high category today, 3,540, so heads up for those who are allergic to mold or it bugs you a little bit. KSAT 12-hour forecast, 90 degrees by noontime. We're going to go mostly sunny. We'll add in some clouds this afternoon. There could be 1 or 2 showers here in San Antonio, a small chance, 10%, much lower than the last couple days. A little better shot as you get closer to the coast. Temperatures also warm up some today. 96 the forecast high, with the easterly winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. And those rain chances in this evening will be in the upper 80s, mid to upper 80s by the time we get into 8, 9 o'clock this evening, guys.
Justin, thank you. Governor Greg Abbott is expected to hold a press conference in Eagle Pass today to give a border security update.
He will be joined by the director of DPS, and this comes after what's being called the deadliest human smuggling case in U.S. history that happened right here in San Antonio. And the death toll rose yesterday and is currently at 51 lives lost. We were told of the deceased, 39 are men and 12 are women. In all, 34 people have been identified.
Right now, it's believed all those who have died are adults, but county officials say some may be younger than 18. They're just not sure yet. Precinct 1 County Commissioner told us they have contacted the Mexican, Guatemalan, Honduran, and El Salvadoran consulates to help identify bodies as well as contact families in their home countries.
Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf spoke on the mounting task the Bexar County Medical Examiner has in front of them.
51 people dying here in Bexar County as they come across the water. Our medical examiner, as Rebecca stated, has received all the bodies from Uvalde, and now she's facing this tremendous workload.
And because of the number of bodies, the Bexar County Medical Examiner has requested help from neighboring counties as far as how long this might take before all the victims are identified. They couldn't give a timeline, but they did say once the medical examiner concludes its findings, the information will be given to the person's home country's consulate.
San Antonio community members say the tragedy hits close to home. A vigil was held last night to remember the lives lost and pray for those still in recovery. They say the tragic end of the migrants has become too common, and so have the thoughts and prayers. Feelings of grief and frustration were felt in the crowd, especially for those who shared a similar plight.
I came here when I was 14 years old in an 18-wheeler as well, and I passed out from the heat. So this hits. I was lucky that I woke up.
The mayor, council members, and county leaders were in attendance for the vigil put on by SA Stands.
And as part of our KSAT Q&A yesterday at 6:30, we spoke with Mayor Ron Nierenberg, and he was on the scene Monday night and held a news conference with other city officials. He says the situation is horrific and wants to remind people to not forget those who died are humans, just like you or me.
You know, these are 50 individuals who had families, many of whom, you know, are grieving themselves. Many possibly don't know the status of their loved one. And knowing that these folks climbed into the back of this trailer and hoping to likely go to a better place, and this is what happens.
Calling it a humanitarian crisis that his office needs help. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar sent a letter to President Joe Biden last night asking for more resources and a meeting.
We obtained a copy of that letter in which Salazar asked for more assistance in fighting those that, quote, profit off the misery of smuggling victims, end quote. He also calls Governor Greg Abbott's tactics at the border ineffective and a campaign stunt.
Sheriff ended his letter with this, quote, I'm asking for you to meet with myself and other urban county Texas sheriffs so that we together can address these issues at hand, not as the enemy invasion it has been portrayed as, but as the humanitarian crisis it truly is, end quote. This is the third time Sheriff Salazar has reached out to the president. He says in his letter, he says to receive, yet to receive a response.
As law enforcement continues to investigate the deaths of those found inside the abandoned tractor trailer, San Antonio police say they have handed the investigation to federal immigration authorities. That has not always been the case. Footage obtained by the defenders shows San Antonio Police Chief William McManus explicitly stating that he would not involve Immigration and Customs Enforcement in a 2017 incident on the city's east side in which 12 migrants were found alive. Dylan Collier has a video that has never been seen publicly until now.
It's a decision that has reverberated for nearly 5 years after 12 suspected migrants were found in the back of a tractor trailer parked on Copeland Drive just before Christmas 2017. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus arrived on scene and was later captured on an officer's body-worn camera saying the following. That decision to handle the incident as a human smuggling case led to 2 lawsuits being filed by the Texas Attorney General. The first accusing McManus and other city leaders of limiting the enforcement of federal immigration laws, and a second, more recent suit that attempted to have McManus removed from his position. The city agreed to settle the first suit without admitting fault this spring for $300,000. in exchange for the AG dropping the claim and its appeal of the second suit. The city could have been on the hook for more than $150 million in penalties and attorney fees.
Su oficina no trabaja con migración. Él dijo a migración que migración no tiene que tener nada que hacer con este caso.
The 2017 footage shows the then head of RAICES, Jonathan Ryan, assuring the suspected migrants in Spanish that SAPD doesn't work with immigration. Additionally, the on-call federal agent testified in a deposition last year that McManus was uncooperative and at one point simply walked away from him. But the same records also raised questions about whether the feds were properly suited to handle the investigation that day. The agent was late to the scene after first showing up at SAPD headquarters, and members of ICE's enforcement and removal operations team never showed up at all. The 12 suspected migrants were eventually questioned by SAPD, then released without ever being in federal custody. Ryan did not respond to a call or social media message seeking comment. City officials today refused to make anyone available for an interview on McManus's handling of the 2017 case. A spokeswoman said SAPD did cooperate with federal authorities that day, notifying HSI from the scene and allowing the agent access to the people found in the trailer at headquarters. For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
The claustrophobic confines of a tractor trailer are a dangerous but a common risk for many migrants in their journey north. But what pushes them to take on this and other hazards? Garrett Berger talks with a pastor and a lawyer about the dangers and dreams that push migrants onwards.
Tragic ends to dozens of journeys that likely had tragic beginnings too.
These families are seeking a better life. They're seeking a life free from violence and terror in many of these countries.
The associate pastor of Travis Park Church and executive director of Corazon San Antonio, Gavin Rogers, is familiar with the circumstances that drive people to seek a new home in the U.S. He even traveled with a migrant caravan through Mexico in 2018.
It's such an eye-opening experience to understand the seriousness of why they would be choosing to take everything they have, everything that they own, and leave it and to seek a better life.
The overnight shelter at Travis Park Church gives asylum seekers a place to stay as they make travel arrangements to their final destinations. Part of the unprecedented number of migrants that city officials say have been coming through San Antonio. And the city's just counting the people allowed to travel legally. Others, like those found in the back of that tractor trailer, choose a different way.
And then they decide to be put in trucks or to be snuck in or to be brought over and trafficked and enslaved.
Immigration attorney Marisol Perez says the country has sent the message abroad that asylum claims and other legal avenues aren't guaranteed, and a host of issues with the system can help prompt someone to risk an illegal entry.
There is chaos, and I think in our immigration system in terms of the benefits, in terms of detention, in terms of our removal system.
Leaving migrants to gamble one way or the other. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
And we are going to continue to follow this story and investigation, and we'll bring you the governor's remarks online once they begin and have highlights on our afternoon newscast. The governor is supposed to speak around 2 p.m.
Right now, 9:41, 78 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
When we come back, we're going to get another look at our forecast. Plus, we're wrapping things up on a lighter note, talking about a new theater production in town. We'll be right back.
And we're back at 9:45.
Yes, we are back. We had interesting, rain yesterday, but now I think it's, Justin said it's dying off a little bit.
Yeah, the rain is gone. Skies are clear. We may see a couple more showers this afternoon, but nothing like yesterday. Yesterday was kind of our day, our last hope, and it all came to fruition. The thing about those kind of situations, it is luck of the draw, but we had the right outflow boundaries come through at the right time, and it collided, and storms and showers and great rain for us. It helped to keep temperatures down, too. For the first time in a long time, we had a below average day. The entire month of June has been above average. We're probably going to set some more records. May was one of those months. June has been very hot, but yesterday was one of those anomalies, and we'll take it. Below average, we're expecting to be back above average today, and then we may end the month pretty close to average. But the bottom line is the month in general is still going to be well above average. 88.1 is the average temp, which is way up there. Observed rainfall yesterday, we talked about it. It was really pretty good, especially around Bexar County. Floresville close to 2 inches, the airport half an inch, and some cells out near Eagle Pass, just north of Eagle Pass, put down over 2 inches of rain out there, a place that desperately needs it. Bernie over an inch, and we'll look a little closer here at Bexar County. Stone Oak, about 1.5 inches. Helotes, close to 1 inch. Alamo Ranch, close to 3 inches. We mentioned Windcrest, close to 4 inches there. Elmendorf, nearly 3/4 of an inch. So, the numbers varied, but it was all pretty good. Most of the city got at least some good steady rain for a while. As we go outside for you right now, we've got mostly clear skies, 79. Dew point is at 65, northerly winds at 6. So there is a little bit of a heat index. And temperatures are starting to make their way into the 80s at this hour. 77 Bernese State, 77 up there at Canyon Lake, 83 right now Pleasanton. Forecast for today will stay mostly sunny through the early afternoon, and then some clouds may try to work in. There is a 20% chance of rain closer to the coast, where we could see some showers pop up a little bit closer to some tropical moisture, and then we'll add in a 10% chance for San Antonio during the afternoon and evening hours. I think most everything we're going to see today is going to stay east of I-35, but there's a chance 1 or 2 showers could work their way towards San Antonio. Nothing like yesterday. This will be anything we see today will be few and far between. So the KSAT 12-hour forecast, 90 degrees at noontime, mostly sunny. Then we'll add in some clouds this afternoon. 10% chance of rain, 96 your high temperature. May feel a little bit warmer than that with some humidity around. And then we'll take out rain chances as we head into this evening. We've been talking about the tropics. Still 2 systems out there that we're watching. One that should become a tropical depression any day. It's still not quite there, but the Hurricane Center basically feels like this will become Tropical Storm Bonnie at some point. Now, the track takes it right into Central America, keeps it well south of the United States. And there's another system behind that that now has about a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. We have plenty of time to watch that. And of course, in the Gulf of Mexico, this system here, 40% chance of development. Regardless of if it develops or not, and it doesn't have much real estate to do so, it's going to bring some moisture to parts of the Texas coast. It already is. We're seeing some showers right along the coast. But as it moves a little bit closer, it should bring some rainfall, I think, east of San Antonio. These are the spaghetti plots, and it does show kind of a cluster here of this moving north and then staying east of I-35. And I think that's probably where most of the rain will be. And this computer model shows a few showers on Thursday, a little bit closer to the coast, all of it staying east of town, and then maybe a cluster of some heavier rain staying out towards Houston as we get into Friday. We would by and large miss out on this tropical moisture, which is unfortunate, but it's just the way it's setting up. So the forecast calls for just a 20% chance of rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, temperatures in the 90s. And after that, things dry out, and we'll see temperatures near 100 by July 4th and Tuesday, guys.
Thanks, Justin. Well, every summer, the Woodlawn Theater picks a fairy tale production, and this year the staff is performing Disney's The Little Mermaid.
But this will not be the typical production you would expect. Digital journalist Andrew Wilson and producer Alexis Page met with the cast, and they are giving us a peek backstage.
summer, the Woodlawn Theater puts on a fairy tale production, and this year they're going under the sea with Disney's Little Mermaid.
The stage version adds so much life and color. It dives deeper into the relationships of the story. And so there's a lot more, though we love the classic characters that we think of when we think The Little Mermaid, it's almost like it expands that.
Everybody in this production is amazing. We have some of the younger cast members who are just the sweetest, most encouraging kiddos I've ever worked with in my life. Amazing singers. We have amazing dancers, our choreographer, our director, our stage, everybody. I feel like I'm always like just tooting the horn to be tooting it. No, toot, toot, beat, beat. Everybody is really, 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 really talented.
Something that I wanted to focus with this production was diving deep into the connections that these characters have and the heart of the story. I think with Disney shows like this, people tend to focus too much on the spectacle or, Disney magic, and the story gets lost. And so I wanted to focus more on that because I think people would relate to Ariel and her story.
For more information about this show, go to KSAT.com. Alexis Page, KSAT 12 News.
All the songs are going through our heads this morning.
It's all coming back to us.
Yes, it is. 9:51. Oh, by the way, break a leg. 9:51, 80 degrees.
And after the break, a look at some of the new movies coming out in the month of July.
Kevin.
Kevin, Stuart, Bob, and the rest of the Amber accomplices are back in Minions: The Rise of Gru as the 12-year-old baddie seeks to become a supervillain. Minion Mayhem commences July 1st.
Kids, get your popcorn out. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson.
Actually, it's the story of how Thor went from dad bod to god bod, only to find out he's not the mighty Thor. Jane? Find out what is even happening when Thor: Love and Thunder lands in theaters July 8th.
You wanted to be a samurai. Fun, isn't it? Now go get him.
Samuel L. Jackson and Michael Cera lead an all-star voice cast in Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank. The animated adventure hits theaters July 15th.
You guys gonna tell me what's going on?
Hell no.
Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer star in Jordan Peele's Nope. We're not saying it's aliens, so you will have to find out whatever it is when the movie Nopes into theaters July 22nd.
What do I have here?
Squeezy Bruce! Squeezy what? Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart are superpowered canines in DC League of Super Pets, with John Superman Krasinski and Keanu Batman Reeves as their heroic human counterparts. The Fur flies July 29th. Catching a double feature in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
So much stuff to watch now. It's like we went 2 years without anything, and now we've got all this stuff.
A lot of kids' movies.
Yeah.
I'm excited about
Minions looks hilarious.
All right.
I'm going to start with that one.
Perfect for summer and families.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.